But the challenges posed by the attacks in Israel and the West Bank, and by the situation in Afghanistan, of course, are not the only signs of turbulence on the global scene. Because of new technologies, we may find partners and competitors, allies and adversaries, literally anywhere on Earth. Each day, there are more people in the world putting additional pressure on limited natural resources, on the challenges of governance itself. Big chunks of the Middle East and Africa are torn by violence, creating a record flow of refugees. The age-old problems of nationalist ambitions and religious extremism are testing the resilience of the rule of law. And the devil's marriage of technology and terror prompts us to fear that the 13th century battles will soon be fought with 21st century weapons. Now, to some, all of this may lead to the temptation that in my younger days we called tuning out. After all, why worry about what seems beyond your control? So let me be blunt. The complications of this era are neither reason nor excuse to duck our common responsibilities. On the contrary, it is precisely because of the complexity of this world that we are required to tackle the hardest challenges and live up to the magnificent legacy that we inherited. If that doesn't sound easy, my friends, it's because it isn't. In fact, it will require from us the same qualities of optimism and ambition that transformed the United States from a wilderness into the most remarkable democratic society on the face of the planet. Because in the midst of uncertainty, I have come to know one constant. We are a nation of doers, conceived in a revolution against the world's then leading empire. We have survived the burning of our capital, the disgrace of slavery, a devastating civil war, a Great Depression, 2 global conflicts, prolonged military confrontations in Korea, Vietnam, and the Gulf, a superpower rivalry, 4 presidential assassinations, and terrorist attacks in New York, Washington, Boston, and a lot more. And yes, we are not perfect. No one is. But we are resilient. And we are as strong, I think, as we have ever been. And as we look ahead, we seek not simply to address the immediate crisis of the day. Our strategy is to lay the groundwork for solutions that will strengthen the community of nations for decades to come. To succeed in that, we must mobilize the help and the support of allies and friends across the globe, because we can't do it alone. No nation can. We have to make the best use of every single foreign policy tool, from multilateral institutions to the selective and sometimes necessary use of force. We have to take into account the transformative impact of new technology, a world in which people are connected 24/7 every day. More people in poor countries still have smartphones than they do have access to running water or electricity. We need to uphold democratic principles and strengthen the rule of law. And we have to always be willing to invest in American leadership, not because it feels good, but because it makes a difference, sometimes all the difference. And I believe that we can do all of this, and so does President Obama, with many reasons for great confidence in our capacity and in the road ahead. Now, there is a perception among some, and some argue it, even some running for president, that we should pull back, turn inwards, don't have to worry about the rest of this. Some suggest that the world is increasingly chaotic and even falling into disorder. Well, I disagree. Despite the many challenges that we face, as I travel the world, and as I talk to foreign ministers, prime ministers, presidents, people all across this planet, I don't sense an unraveling of the global fabric. I see a world that in critical areas is actually increasingly coming together.